It was inevitable. To begin with, there was ride sharing, Uber and Lyft. Then, there was house sharing, Vrbo and Airbnb. There was even capacity sharing, Neighbor, Stow It, and so forth. Indeed, presently there is Turo. Perhaps you would rather not play taxi driver, hotelier, or storage space big shot. How might you like your own rental vehicle organization? With Turo, presently you can have one. How does Turo function? For someone hoping to lease a vehicle, it's the very same as Airbnb, aside from with a vehicle. You get on the site, pick an objective, pick a vehicle, and the vehicle owner delivers it to you at the air terminal all set when you show up. Very much like a rental vehicle, you can utilize your own protection or pay theirs and drop it off back at the air terminal when you're finished. For the leaseholder, you get to skirt the rental counterline and maybe appreciate better help in a more one-of-a-kind vehicle. As a matter of fact, you get to pick the specific vehicle you will lease instead of an irregular, economy, or standard size vehicle. You can cancel for nothing as long as 24 hours prior, and it possibly costs you $50 in the event that you drop whenever. For the vehicle loan specialist, you get a part-time job, second work, or money streaming speculation, contingent upon your perspective. Ways to do well as a Turo vehicle tenant. There are a couple of things to recollect whether you choose to involve Turo as a leaseholder. Number 1, the vehicles aren't new. At the point when you lease a vehicle with Hertz or Public, the vehicle is possible under 3 years of age with under 20,000 miles on it. In every way that really matters, it's pristine. Indeed, any vehicle can break whenever, however the probability of a mechanical issue being unrelated to a road hazard is incredibly small. With Turo, that is not the situation. There are rules about the age and state of the vehicle, yet Turo isn't going out and keeping an eye on them. Proceed cautiously. You probably won't buy another person's concern, however you are leasing it. Peruse cautiously, particularly the surveys. What a loan specialist depicts as like new, might be deficient with regards to usefulness, or it might have huge inside or outside harm. Very much like a rental vehicle, go for a stroll around, and make a video before you leave so you realize what was there and what wasn't. A fast look at vehicles at my neighborhood air terminal showed a 2008 and a lot of 2013 to 2014s, albeit most of vehicles were more up to date. Here are the US rules in the event that you're intrigued. The individual posting the vehicle may not claim it, they simply need consent from the proprietor. Taken vehicles? Can't be enrolled in New York. Can be as old as 12 years of age, except if it's truly extraordinary, then it tends to be significantly more established. Worth under $150,000. Number 2, your credit card won't give protection. That protection you're used to from Visa, American Express and their likes when you lease, definitely, that doesn't work with Turo. Your protection at USAA or State Homestead won't work all things considered. You are most likely going to have to purchase the Turo protection, so make certain to value that in. On the off chance that you need the Premier plan, the one with $750,000 in responsibility inclusion and a $0 deductible, it could twofold the expense of your rental. The organization says 60% 100% of the rental cost with at least $14 each day. The least expensive arrangement is 18 to 25% of the expense of the rental, however that accompanies the base state responsibility sum in a $3,000 deductible. It has a $10 everyday leased. There is likewise an liability-only option at no additional charge, yet all at once very much like the standard and leased plans, you just get the state-required leased. Better check with your umbrella insurance contract. However, I bet they will expect you to purchase the top-notch contract assuming that they will uphold it by any means. Number 3, there is no large worldwide organization to manage. Turo proprietors are not Hertz, Budget or National. This will be a substantially more personal experience. That accompanies its own pros and cons, obviously. A few hosts will be perfect to work with. Others will attack you out of the loop parking area where you are getting the vehicle. Alright, perhaps not. Be that as it may, be cautious out there, particularly until you get the hang of how this should function. Number 4, be careful of the expenses. Keep an eye out for every one of the little expenses. In the event that you've at any point leased an Airbnb for one evening and found the cleaning expense was more than the rental charge, you know what I'm talking about. A similar rule applies to Turo. Ways to do well as a Turo car owner. What might be said about this as an investment? Is Turo worth the effort? Is it a smart choice? Number 1, the car rental business? Are you serious? What reason on the planet could a specialist need to get into the vehicle rental business? Well, in any event, assuming you're doing Airbnb or one more sort of transient rental, you have a resource that is probably going to increase in value over the long haul. That is not the situation with most vehicles. Furthermore, have you at any point leased a vehicle? How could you drive it? Definitely, me as well. Do you truly need individuals driving your vehicle like that? Who takes a gander at the vehicle rental business and says, those folks are raking in huge profits. Doubtlessly I can offer a lower cost and better help and cut them off at the knees. Probably, you really want your vehicle, more often than not. All in all, what are you going to set up on the site? Is it true that you will go out and purchase a vehicle just to lease it out on Turo? Or on the other hand is your arrangement to do how loads of individuals manage their subsequent homes? I'll lease it out once in a while so others are taking care of the expense of me claiming it. In my experience, that doesn't resolve as well as a great many people trust. I realize bunches of docs killing it in owning property. I realize loads of docs doing great with medical legal work. I know bunches of docs who in all actuality do well training different docs as well. I even know a couple that truly do well writing for a blog or running large Facebook gatherings. I don't have a clue about any who are killing it on Turo. Doesn't mean it isn't possible, yet a little wariness is altogether. What amount could you make at any point on Turo? The typical Turo proprietor is making $706 per month. That won't make a difference for the vast majority perusing this post. To do this, you will have to scale. You could require an armada of 10 vehicles just to make $60,000 in profit a year. Congrats, you've quite recently gotten yourself a task that pays much less than doctoring. Number 2, delivery and pickup. Keep in mind, somebody needs to deliver the vehicle and pick it up. Of course, it tends to be left for a couple of hours, however this takes time. It's a half hour for me to go from my home to the air terminal. That is 2 hours of my time round trip for the rental. What is your time worth? Regardless of whether it is just worth $100 per hour, you can deduct out $200 from your profit at any time. However, pause, there's something else. You can't take the vehicle out to the air terminal without anyone else. How are you going to return home? You want a subsequent individual. Make certain to count the worth of their time, as well. How much profit do you think there is in the vehicle rental business? The other option, obviously, is to employ 2 others to do that. What do you guess are the expenses to have somebody ready to deliver your cars at some random hour or day? How about you ask Hertz or Avis? I bet they know. Coincidentally, that mileage, gas, and leaving to convey and get the vehicle, however it's deducted, is likewise on you. Number 3, name your cost. Thinking about the amount you can make on Turo. What I like best about the Turo model is the way that you can name your cost. In the event that it's insufficient cash, you don't need to lease the vehicle. Similar to your Make Me Move cost with Zillow. Perhaps you possibly get a renter on a truly bustling weekend when the wide range of various vehicles are gone, similar to Uber drivers that only drive during peak periods. Number 4, get an exceptional vehicle. In my area, here I composed a list of accompanying vehicles that are accessible. 2013 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, $449 each day. 2014 Jaguar F-Type, $252 each day. 2022 Tesla Model 3, $138 each day. In the meantime, assuming that I go to Budget's website for the Salt Lake City Air Terminal, I'll find vehicles costing $90 to $113 each day. A Suburban is $227. Furthermore, I need to purchase no additional protection. Who will lease any of those different vehicles? Somebody who needs something uniquely great and has cash in excess. Assuming you will rent vehicles, get something uniquely great, yet worth less than $150,000, charge to the point of making it advantageous, and trust that is a cost essentially a couple of individuals will actually want to pay consistently. Be that as it may, don't expect a top-of-the-line vehicle will naturally get along admirably and a low-end vehicle will not. A few experienced host has sworn to have done better with economy vehicles than extravagance vehicles. Number 5, know your market. See whether individuals will lease your vehicle before you get it. For instance, huge families frequently come to Salt Lake to see relatives or to go skiing. Minivans presumably get along admirably. Perhaps a Suburban or a Sequoia in the colder time of year. Jeeps and trucks as far as anyone knows really do well in Colorado, however inadequately in Missouri. See what vehicles are leasing for in your market before you purchase. Number 6. Purchase utilized. This is a venture here. Everything no doubt revolves around the numbers. At the point when you drive another vehicle off the lot, a considerable amount of money is lost to depreciation. It'll consume a lot of time to make that up. Best to simply begin with a used vehicle in any case. Number 7. Get business protection. You're maintaining a business here. Purchase business protection. No, your own arrangement won't cover this, regardless of whether specialists erroneously say okay, since they don't have the foggiest idea about the distinction between ride-sharing, Uber, and vehicle sharing, Turo. No, Turo's protection isn't adequate. Per the experts, the few times the Turo policy has been put to the test, Turo has tried to wiggle out of it, usually successfully. Number 8. Structure a LLC or partnership. Discussing business, there's obligation here. That implies you would rather not be running this thing as a sole ownership or an organization. You really want a LLC or a partnership. Keep the funds isolated. The business needs its own financial balances, and perhaps a visa. Assuming that you enlist somebody to work for you, you really want to do all the proper desk work, I-9, W-2, W-3, W-4, and so on. Is leasing on Turo worth it? In case it's not obvious, I don't think becoming a Turo host is a great idea for members of the WCI audience. I'm sure there's someone out there who hates medicine enough to try this and could end up scaling it into a 150-car empire. But for the rest of you, enjoy your day job and stick with the more well-known side gigs. You're going to be a lot better off doing Vrbo, Airbnb than Turo. Now if you want to try renting a car via Turo, knock yourself out. But be extra careful and double-check the insurance situation. What do you think? Have you rented with Turo? Are you a Turo owner? How is it going? What has your experience been like? Comment below.